Welcome to Bloody Maryz, a queer horror movie podcast.
This episode we'll be discussing Us.
I'm coming to get you, Barbara, Sean.
And I'm Johnny, who's here, Alex.
We are two queer horror nerds living together in Hackney in London, and our pronouns are they, them.
Content note, as always, we'll be swearing, and of course, because it's a horror, there's violence and murder, and spoilers, and especially with this one, there's a big twist reveal that we'll be going straight into from the get-go. So if you want to watch it, but you should, then do that, and then come back. So, Us had its world premiere at South by Southwest on March 8th, 2019. Also my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for that. And was theatrically released in the United States.
Easy for you to say.
On March 22nd, 2019. It was a critical and commercial success, grossing 255 million worldwide against a budget of 20 million, and received praise for Peele's screenplay and direction, as well as musical score and Younger's performance. It grossed over 71 million, in its opening weekend just in America, and that's the highest ever for an original horror film, and the second highest for an original live action film after Avatar. So, surprising.
So it did better than Get Out then?
Yeah. Well, I read about that, and that didn't do so well. I guess it's like people didn't really know what to expect with Get Out, did they? Then when they see that, they're like, I guess I want more. So Jordan Peele gave the cast 11 horror films to watch that have the same shared language, when filming. Those were Jaws, Dead Again, I haven't seen that, The Shining, The Babadook, your favorite. It Follows, Tale of Two Sisters, The Birds, Funny Games, which we enjoyed very much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, when we watched Funny Games, we said that there was an element of this about it.
Martyrs, Let the Right One In, and The Sixth Sense.
Quite a good smorgasbord. Plus The Babadook.
So I thought it'd be best to do the summary of what it's about in terms of quotes of other people rather than me trying to sound smart. Mm-hmm. So Monica Castillo of RobertEbert.com wrote that Us is another thrilling exploration of the past and oppression this country is still too afraid to bring that up. Peele wants us to talk and has given the audience the material to think, to feel our way through some of the darker sides of human condition and the American experience. Jordan Peele himself said, one of the central themes of Us is that we can do a good job collectively of ignoring the ramifications of privilege. I think it's the idea that what we feel like we deserve comes, at the expense of someone else's freedom or joy. He says, a lot, so that's not me, just, yeah. The biggest disservice we can do as a faction with a collective privilege like the United States is to presume that we deserve it, and that it isn't just luck that has us born where we're born. For us to have our privilege, someone suffers. That's where the tethered connection, I think, resonates the most, is that those who suffer and those who prosper are two sides of the same coin. You can never forget that. We need to fight for the less fortunate. Yes. So I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of what the film's about. It's a good summary. And it makes sense that the writer and director will be able to do that.
You think so? You hope so.
So in terms of the film, it's basically scattered with foreshadowing and recurring imagery and hidden meanings. It's the most Easter eggy film I've ever researched, actually.
Out of all four.
So I'm going to go through them section by section. In terms of other films or shows, Peele said that the inspiration for Us was the Twilight Zone episode Mirror Image that was centered on a young woman and her evil doppelganger. And then obviously then went on to do the reboot of the Twilight Zone. Like the Lost Boys, several key scenes take place on Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. This is even referenced when Adelaide's mother says, they're shooting a movie over there by the carousel.
Ah.
I didn't get that one.
No, I didn't.
Also, Get Out is referenced as well. So apparently, I didn't see this, but Get Out is carved into the side of the entrance of the Hall of Mirrors. And apparently Josh's tattoos, it's a pair of antlers, one on each arm.
Which one's Josh?
So that's the dad of the Tylers who meet later on the beach.
I didn't see any tattoos on him. Very Easter eggy.
Yeah, very eggy. Another Get Out reference is one I don't remember. Is the
wait? What's he got? What tattoos he got?
Antlers.
What's the reference to Get Out? Is it because there's some mounted on the wall? That is niche. That is neat.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, it can't be so confirmed.
It's also an Easter egg for Christmas because of reindeers.
With the sky in those films. Apparently there's also another reference, which is another very niche one, is that Jason is apparently eating a dry bowl of Fruit Loops at the Tyler's house. And apparently there's a section in Get Out, which I don't remember, where a character eats Fruit Loops and drinks milk from segregated glasses.
That's a bit of a reach.
Yeah. On to other films that it references, there's a VHS pile by the TV at the very beginning as a thing. And in it is a man with two brains, which is obviously an example of doubleness. The Goonies, which is obviously a thing about exploring underground sort of worlds. And horror sci-fi movie Chud or CHUD, which is a story about like humanoid monsters who live underground, resurfacing to wreak havoc on New York City.
What's the Jaws connection? Do you know?
Well, he's wearing a Jaws t-shirt. One of them wears a Jaws t-shirt at one point. And apparently there's a bit where you can see a fin and like it looks like a fin in the water, but I didn't notice that.
For what purpose?
I don't think. Well, I think it was. But I mean, the films that he made them watch, I think, was more to just get a sense of a mood.
No, I mean, what was the purpose of having a shark fin in?
Oh right, yeah, no idea. Yeah. Jordan is a self-proclaimed fan of Kubrick's Shining. You can see that referenced in the very beginning with the family driving through the forest and that being like panned down up like from an aerial view. But actually, I think that's quite commonplace in films, like horror films at the moment specifically, when people like...
Yeah, but like the most iconic version of it is The Shining.
Yeah. Also, apparently the creepy twins are meant to be a reference to that with the way that they move and like
synchronicity again,
and apparently Peel dressed as Jack Torrance for the entire Press tour.
What did he? What does Jack Torrance wear? Just like a shirt and trousers?
Yeah.
Wow,
that's real devotion.
Yeah.
They should have dressed as the old woman in the bath. You're like, these mouldy wabs?
And the final one is a reference to Friday the 13th, and it's because the son is obviously called Jason, and he wears a mask all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, moving on to just the concept of duality and doubles. Jordan Peele chose scissors because they're like a mundane household object, but can also cause severe bodily harm and also made up of two parts. In the Wilson's toy closet that we see when they're playing.
Guess who? Yes, I noticed that. Yeah. I like that moment. Thank you. Also, did you notice the Hall of Mirrors, under the name it says Find Yourself? Yeah.
The song which everyone will know from the film is Lunas, I Got Five on it. It actually, the references, or got five on it references chipping in $5 to buy a $10 bag of weed. So that's two guys chipping in to buy one whole bag of weed.
Did you read the thing about the timing of that song? No. So I only read this like halfway through the film. But there's a bit where Lupita's character, Adelaide, is like clicking along with that song in the car, but she's slightly out of like rhythm, and she makes some comment about him not being in time or something, but then she isn't either. So it's supposed to be like a hint that there's something not quite right with her.
Oh, that's interesting. That didn't come up in my research.
No.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And yeah, the final bit, which I find a bit strange, is the duality of because like Thriller's reference, obviously she gets like a Thriller t-shirt, and Peele's talked about how like using Michael Jackson, with who was like seen as a hero, but obviously has this kind of dark, creepy side. And this is before the Neverland documentary came out, so or during the same time, he said the added to it, but I don't know if he would have chosen them had he known.
Well, I mean, if you're thinking about duality with Michael Jackson as well, there's the idea that he very much passed as a black man and as a white man as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's another element to that, and then there's the kind of childlike, adult-like kind of side to him as well.
Yeah,
I can see why. But isn't that? But also in the Thriller video, he literally becomes a different. He becomes a zombie, doesn't he? He becomes a different person.
He is so smart, aren't you?
Oh. Alex.
Also,
so I, to sum up, I don't think it's just because he's a pedo.
I do. But no, and also like the red jumpsuit and the single gloves seem to be like inspired by Michael Jackson.
Of course.
So moving on to Jeremiah 11:11. Or just 11:11 as it appears quite a lot through the film.
Where else does it appear?
Well, sure, I'm about to tell you.
Great, I'm on the edge of my seat.
So to start with what the quote is in the Bible, it says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." I won't hearken.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I won't hearken. Please hearken. I won't.
Well, yes, it's because apparently this section of the Bible talks about how a nation has forgotten God and its history, and God has decided to give it over to destruction. So basically asking for help, despite the fact that they sort of brought upon themselves like a terrible misgiving.
Yes, well, just classic cheerful stuff from the Bible.
Yeah. And so God will not deliver mercy. And it's basically reading what you say. It's God decide, fuck you. Classic God.
Yeah.
I've also, have you heard of 11:11? This is a conversation area. Before this, in terms of like it being like a sort of magical thing.
Yes, but I also think I'm thinking of the convenience store chain 7-Eleven.
Oh. They are magical.
And they are ubiquitous.
I went through a period of, this is me being superstitious, of noticing the time 11:11, and I googled it a long time ago, and it basically meant to be an angel number, but if you notice it over and over, then it means that you're in the presence of like angelic or like spiritual beings.
Could that be me?
Yeah, that's you.
Thanks for noticing my numbers everywhere.
So, yeah, I make a wish every time you see it.
Dear.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a funny one, aren't you? You and your little things.
So yeah, and obviously we see in the film Jeremiah 11 is written on the sign from the spooky guy at the beach who's young and then old and then bleeding.
Yeah, that's the classic trajectory.
Yes. Also, Gabe was watching a baseball game on the TV, and the announcer says that the game is tied at 11:11. One of the teams, Minnesota's team, is called the Twins. When Adelaide, it's referred to as Addie, and Jason are talking in his room, the clock, he points to the clock and it's showing 11:11. These ones are more like, you noticed this actually about the Black Flag t-shirt, but I find these ones a bit kind of like strange in terms of the stretch, but the carnival worker that, you know, is when he's playing whack-a-mole, is wearing a Black Flag t-shirt, and also one of the twins wears one later. And it's pointed out that the band's logo is made up of 4 columns, so it's like 11:11 as well.
Oh.
And the last 11:11 that I know of, there's probably more, is on top of the ambulance at the end that they drive away and they pan up and it's got 11:11 on top of it.
Ah.
So yeah, finally onto the Hands Across America, which was actually a real thing. I hadn't heard of it before this song, did you?
No, same.
So I was like, obviously the idea was that they're just going to get people to hold hands across America to raise money for charity, but ultimately only about 15 million went to charity when they targeted about 50 million. And the leader of a homelessness advocacy group told the New York Times at the time that the organizers spent too much to raise too little and promoted a national extravaganza empty of content. And as many, I think, pieces notice, us draws a parallel between the overpromise of Hands Across America and society's tendency to ignore inequality, even when it's right under their privileged, stinking noses.
Or maybe that it overlooks it while performing these kind of hollow, empty gestures to recognize it, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that was all of my stuff in terms of research.
So that's a lot to unpick.
It's a lot. So, at the beginning of the film, we open on some stats about underground tunnels. Apparently there's loads and nobody knows what they're for, mostly. Then it moves on to opening on to a TV set without any context, actually. But you can tell it's kind of the 80s, and it's showing an advert for Hands Across America, like a real advert. With the VHSs that I mentioned previously scattered around. And then it cuts from Hands Across America to an advert for Santa Cruz Boardwalk. And the moment it does it, also it immediately cuts to the family with a little baby Adelaide and her parents at the boardwalk, and the dad, I don't know his name actually.
Daddy
Adelaide.
Dadelaide. Mummalade and Dadelaide.
So dad wins a prize, and she chooses 11, which I just noticed, the prize 11.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a thriller t-shirt, and then the mom's like having.
Yeah, they obviously have a bit of a dysfunctional relationship, the parents.
Yeah, and I thought that was sort of like more obvious than my first time I watched it. It seemed like he was like a real drinker, but he only mentions his getting like one more beer. She's like,
yeah, he kind of swaggers a bit though.
Yeah, he does a little bit of a swagger. And then she needs the toilet. And he's playing whack-a-mole, and which I thought also was another maybe reference to keeping things underground.
Maybe.
I mean, everything could be.
These Easter eggs.
Easter eggy. So Adelaide wanders across the boardwalk and enters a fun house by herself while her dad's playing whack-a-mole and was having a wee.
Or a poo. She's gone for 15 minutes.
Or a puke. And she goes into the fun house and encounters a scary owl, and also lots of mirrors. And she gets a bit spooked. The lights go out, and then she's like wandering around, and she sees the back of her own head, essentially. And she does this kind of silent, screamy, bulgy-eyed, like arc face. So then it cuts immediately to the opening credits, which is just a load of rabbits and some strange singing. In terms of the rabbits, there wasn't apparently any significance other than Jordan thinks they're spooky and weird. And a reference for Shut Down, actually, which I can see with the evil rabbits and that.
Oh, yeah. And also, I guess, just having caged animals underground with the kind of people who are trapped there.
Yeah. Exactly. That's so true. So then cut to modern day. And she's grown up. She's with her husband Gabe and their family, Zora and Jason. Gabe wants to go to the beach, and when she realizes that it's Santa Cruz, she's like, I don't really want to go. But then Gabe's like, come on. To the beach.
Is it at this point? Do we see the other flashback where she is in the waiting room of like a child psychologist or something?
It's not shortly, actually. Oh no, it is now. You're right. That's the last note.
So she's like playing with some like little toys in the waiting room or something.
Yeah. And she's actually lining up, I just remember she's lining up like animals on a big line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How aren't we clever?
Yeah.
It's so hard having nothing to learn because we just know everything.
So they're in the therapist's office. She's little, and she's just like, no, we don't know what happened to her. She walked off. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, right. If she's only gone 15 minutes, we just want our daughter back. Blah blah. And also the psychologist or whoever it is says, if she's not going to tell you a story, then get her to draw or dance or sing or do something to express and tell the story in her own way.
Yeah.
Which foreshadowing. Yeah.
Special like button.
And I should have one that says, "That's easy for you to say."
So then cut back to them. They're driving to the beach. Let's go get away. Well, it's Nicki Minaj. Don't know if you know.
I don't. I mean, I know her, but I don't know. I haven't delved as deep into her back catalogue as you have.
Delicious. Anyway, so they're driving to the beach, and they're having some banter. There's a point that the little boy says, "Maybe you can kiss my anus." and then they're like, "Why are you saying that? Where did you learn that? Oh, they're gross."
And the dad's like, "Why are we talking about anuses?"
Yeah. And then the other dad then says, like, "We don't always have to be talking, actually."
They're also like a kind of a very sweet family who seem like very functional. Like they don't have any, like their arguments they have are kind of quite minor and normal, and they're all really sweet. And they also, which I really love, is that they all play like a really strong role in their survival. It's not just like one person. Like the kids take part in like killing the baddies as well. And it's I love it.
Yeah. So then he puts on I Got Five on it, and they all do a little dance into it and loving it. And then cuts on meeting up with their friends at the beach. Let's go get away. Kitty is at the beach, who's I think maybe one of my favorite characters in terms of hilarity.
Yeah, she's funny.
Is like sitting like looking really glamorous at the beach. And she's like, "This rosé is delicious." This is just like, just had a little work done, isn't it beautiful?
Oh, and Adelaide says, "Yeah, you look just the same as you did last year."
Yeah.
Also, I wonder when she says like, "Oh, it was just a tiny bit of work, but it's made all the difference." I mean, obviously, you don't need to do anything. I wonder if there's a bit of microaggression in there.
Yeah, it's really as well. So yeah,
we should say the Tyler family are white.
Oh yes, the family are white. Yes,
the husband's a dick.
Yeah, he's really annoying, like sort of a classic blokey jokey nonsense match and nonsense match, and
he does trade in nonsense.
Professional.
Yeah, he's just got like shit jokes and like an awful dressing gown. Yeah. Just classic awful dressing gown shit jokes.
He's taking the piss out of Gabe. He's got a boat and he's like, "Is it a dinghy, mate?" and then it's like, "But you haven't got a flare, have you?" Which comes up later.
Yes.
So then a frisbee comes and lands perfectly on a circle on the towel, and Kitty goes, "There's been so many coincidences recently. It's strange." At the beach, also, Jason goes to the loo, and there's a man standing with his arms outstretched with blood dripping from one hand. Who we don't know who that is at the moment, but we do find out later.
Well, we do. But I think you can kind of blink and miss it though.
Yeah.
Because I don't even remember that from when we saw it in the cinema, that him seeing that guy with the drippy bloody hand. But he also encounters him in the same way that Adelaide initially encounters her double, which is just from behind.
Yeah. Yeah, he draws a picture that sort of mirrors the way that she encounters the doppelganger. Later that same evening. There's also a point here where there's a sort of mild reference to there being something unusual about Jason, where the twins are like, "Your brother's weird. What's wrong with him?" And I think like Zora says something like, "Oh, it just takes him a while to get things," or something.
Yeah,
Something like that.
and I wonder if because so the presumption there is that he's kind of neuroatypical,
Yeah.
and because the tethered are kind of like exaggerated versions of them, maybe that's why his is like completely nonverbal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but because there's also, I've read this and I can see why you would think that, but I didn't necessarily. I think it's a bit of a red herring. But there's also the theory that Jason also switches, but it doesn't stand up to scrutiny because his tethered has a severely burnt face. Yeah. But I do think it's intentional to try and make you think that could have potentially happened.
Yeah,
Especially if you think at the end the kind of knowingness that happens between mother and son.
That's true. I thought it was like him looking scared. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, so that's their experience on the beach. Oh well, while Jason's gone, Adelaide freaks out and finds him, but then they just go home. Nothing more on the beach there, thank you. So they're all back at the house, and Ariel just starts freaking out to her husband, just saying they really need to leave, and that she feels like there's a black cloud hanging over me, and I don't feel like myself. And she tells a story about seeing a doppelganger, and it actually flashes back, and this time you see her turning around in the flashback. It says, "My whole life I feel like she's coming to get me. There's so many coincidences. I feel like it means she's getting closer." So yeah, she's survived.
Well, yes.
Yes.
And he's doing the classic man thing in horror.
I believe that you believe.
but I also don't believe.
Sorry for your belief. So then that night they spot like a family all dressed up in the driveway. Dressed up in the driveway. Bad.
Sounds like a Morrissey song. We were dressed up in the driveway.
So like Gabe is being weirdly sensible at this point. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and talk to them. They just seem like people."
But I think this is actually a really clever moment, because I think if it was just adults or a group of men, I think maybe he would instantly be like, "Okay, let's call the police." But it's a family, and it's just like, well, it's like two kids and a dad and a mum. So I think there's an element of like, surely they can't be a threatening force because they're a family.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot in this about like, I don't know, these are unformed thoughts, but I think there's a lot about the nuclear family in this that I think is a theme that I don't quite understand fully. Just thinking about the first time you meet the family, the real life family, you see the little kind of stencil on the back window of their car that's like mother, father, two children.
And then there's actually the way they start the driveway.
Yeah.
There's something about that. I don't know what it is. Just
something. We'll just leave that with you there.
So Gabe's trying to feel sensible, and Adelaide's getting all freaked out and tries to call the police. Then he goes out with a baseball bat, and they all like scatter off in different directions.
I love that bit. Like, she does like a little click or something, doesn't she? And then they all...
It's all about like clicks and like noises and stuff that she makes that sort of like commands them to do the things that they do. It's kind of the way that they suddenly it's amazing. So they all, what happens after that? Yeah.
So they kind of they try and lock down in the house.
Yeah, it doesn't work, and basically all of them break in.
Well, and also because Adelaide's double, Red, finds the spare key in the lock. And she's like, "Oh, she's got the spare key." And Gabe is just like, "What kind of white shit is that?"
And so they all kind of get backed into the lounge, and like the whole family, and then Red finally kind of enters at this point in this kind of really like sort of like robotic fashion.
It's like a sort of like a computer game character.
It's amazing. And they all sit down opposite each other. And like,
I wonder if her movement in that sense is because she's kind of, the tethered people have had to kind of break free from following the exact route that their humans have taken. So it's almost as if she's like learning to walk of her own kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like they're all learning to move independently. Yeah. And also what is the name? Pluto. Is Pluto the name of the Jason's double? So he lights the fire, and then there's the kind of parallel going between the trick that Jason can't do, which is some sort of like lighter thing, and the fact that he can seemingly light fire at will.
So yeah, they also done opposite each other, and then they realize they're all doppelgangers. The names of each I'll go through. So Pluto is Jason's double, who behaves akin to a feral dog, growling on all fours.
It's like Pluto the dog.
Yeah,
the dog.
Umbre, who's Zora's double, who has this kind of like weird, static, sadistic smile on her face.
I think she might be the scariest one of them all, actually.
Yeah, this is because she's like so fast as well.
Yeah.
Abraham, who's Gabe's double, who just could only groan, who's kind of like a grunting giant sort of man. And they're led by Red, who's obviously Adele's double, who talks on a raspy and stunted.
Adele's double.
Adelaide.
No, never mind. She found someone just like her. That's a good impression.
I'll do the rest of it like her. It explains that the doppelgangers are all called the tethered, and they share a soul with their counterparts, and they've come to untether themselves. And basically she tells a story about like a girl who grows up loved and happy, and the shadow version who grows up sad. And
that's such a great monologue, that.
Yeah, that is really good, actually. Like I love the bit where she's talking about the soft toys, and then she has only sharp toys that.
Yeah, they cut her fingers when she tries to play with them. Yeah, it's lovely.
And then there's some bit just at this point where Gabe just goes like, "Who are you people?" And Red goes, "We're Americans." So at this point, the family's all kind of separated by the doppelgangers, and Red makes Adelaide handcuff herself to a table. And Zora is pursued by her double Umbre. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, I think it's missing that out, actually.
Umbre. She just, when she initially is saying like, and you had your child and I had Umbre. And Umbre was born laughing. I love that detail.
So the fact, So then, Gabe is pursued, by Abraham, and Jason is sent to play, with Pluto. During this time, Zora escapes Umbre while, she basically kills a neighbor, who just comes up to tell her off for standing in the car. Gabe kills Abraham while having nautical romps on his face. Jason discovers that Pluto mirrors his actions, in the bed. Actually, this is the bit where you sort of see his face, like his disfigurement, where he basically mirrors it to take off the mask and put on the mask. And so he uses that to trick him, to lock him in the cupboard. And then Red is drawn away by Pluto's cries at this point, allowing Adelaide to break free. And the family all magically regroups at the dock, and escape on the boat. At this point, you see all the doppelgangers, well, except for the dad who's dead, come down to the dock to watch them leaving. And you see Umbre sprinting in the background in the same direction as the boat. It's like, meanwhile, the Tyler family, are attacked by their tethered. Kitty's like on the floor crawling along. It's like, Ophelia, which is their version of what's it, Alexa. And it's like, call the police. And it's like, now playing, fuck the police.
Yeah, that's good. Also, that family are like kind of the polar opposite of the what's the name of the main family? Their surname. Do we have it? Oh, anyway, the main family. They seem like really dysfunctional, really kind of like kind of spoilt. kind of quite lavish and flaunting their wealth a bit. And the couple are always arguing. The girls seem really like snooty and difficult.
Yeah. They don't seem very happy as a family. But yeah, so anyway, their tenant does a quick job of killing them all quite quickly. And the Wilsons, arrive, and then very quickly get separated by all the different, tethered. And the dad gets chased back down to the boat, and very slowly.
Very limply.
Yeah. And you don't see the death of the Tyler's dad, but it happens on the boat, and it's something to do with the flare, which obviously came up earlier. The boat didn't even have a flare. Oh, eat a flare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the twins drag away the mum, and the kids, I don't know where they are, but anyway, they go upstairs to try and find.
So they're initially waiting outside while she goes in, and she goes in first.
Well, she gets smoked by the twins.
Yeah.
So then they go in to try and find her. They do like a really good job, actually. He picks Jason picks up a really big rock, and she gets a golf club. And then they go up the stairs, and she does a good job of closing the doors behind her once she passes. I thought that was like quite a good detail for a horror film. And then you see the twins that are like all kind of like dead on the floor of the original twins, and the tethered twins are like sort of cartwheeling all over the place.
Yeah, and I only realised this upon this watch, which was the earlier you saw one of the twins cartwheeling on the beach, so it was kind of a throwback to that.
Yes. So then they just kind of like kill them quite easily, really. Actually, the twins. So like,
well, actually, do they though? Because one of them gets hit with something in the neck. And then goes flying off the balcony.
Maybe that was just the golf club swinging around. Like, because I couldn't understand what else it would be. It did look like something came flying.
Yeah, unless it was, it could have been Adelaide throwing something from the bedroom.
No, that's too weird. She was that way away.
Was she? Yeah, so maybe she hit with a golf club, but it happened very fast, so she just went flying off the balcony and went through a table.
Okay, you're dead. But actually she isn't.
No, she isn't.
But then, the second twin then comes and does a little romper-room fuckery.
Yeah, little headstand thing.
Yeah, and then she gets killed quite quickly as well.
But quite brutally what's her name, Zora?
Zora, yeah, she really goes to town and smooching her.
Yeah, and then Jace just like wanders back and has a little look, and then they walk off together. That would be me. Just like, I do want to have a little look at what's left here.
Then we cut to, I guess, a meanwhile, with Kitty's doppelganger, who's doing this amazing bit in her like vanity mirror.
Yeah.
She's putting on this shimmery kind of pink lip gloss and like pouting and doing this really like weird, like creepy performative like beauty moment. So she's like a really like hysterical fake smile like you'd see in like a magazine or something. And then she like cuts the sides of her face, which is a reference back to the work that she had done on the beach, I guess. Then
so Zora comes in, creeps up behind her with the golf club, but she turns around and grabs it and then kind of forces her onto the bed. And Adelaide is still handcuffed to the bottom of the bed and is desperately trying to get up to help her.
And then Jason,
but then with that kind of like crystally statue thing,
the crystal thwomp.
A crystal thwomp right on the head.
And yeah, so that's her done for. So then they go back downstairs. The generator's working obviously at this place, so they put the TV on and they see that basically there's been tethered murders all over the United States, starting at people talking about the beach as well. Like Abigail's like, we need to escape to Mexico. Gabe's like,
Abigail. Adelaide.
Abigail.
She's had a different name every time. And then Aberystwyth, she suggests they go to Wales.
Anyway, Adelaide suggests they go to Wales, to Mexico. And Gabe's like, why? We have everything we need here. And then she just like gestures to all the dead bodies. So tell it to Kitty. And there's some jokes about micro machines and Home Alone at this juncture.
Yeah, that's good.
So then, Zora actually ends up driving the family car. Well, actually, I guess the Tyler's car.
Yeah, it's the fancy one they were boasting about earlier.
Yeah. So they're just like, she convinces them she needs to drive because everyone else is injured. And
they also have like a little funny argument about who's killed the most people so far.
But I'd say that actually the dad's kills were pretty lame, but he did get beaten up pretty badly. But anyway.
Well, I mean, that's not really what they should be discussing either way.
So anyway, so then Zora drives and then they see, Umbre just like standing, just like, gonna get them. And there's like an amazing bit where she's just like basically tries to run over and she just like scurries onto the roof of the car. And then, yeah, she finally then just like speeds up again and then breaks something and she just flies off into the trees.
And I think there's something really lovely about how Adelaide has these really tender moments with both of the kids' doubles.
Yeah.
Because she gets out of the car and the dad's just like, well, I guess she's getting out the car.
Yeah.
And goes, and Umbre is kind of like stuck in a tree, kind of like dying.
Yeah.
And like kind of still laughing and trying to grab her. And she's like, she's moving away from her, but she's not trying to.
Yeah, and she's trying to like comfort her. She's like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like, and she has a similar tender moment with Pluto later on.
Yeah, that's right. Which is coming up shortly, actually. So, actually, they must have been driving all night because it's suddenly daylight when they get to...
Well, I think we can assume that all of this took a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, it seemed like they were quite close to the beach. Anyway, whatever. So they arrive at the seafront, the Santa Cruz boardwalk area, and they find that the road's blocked by their own car, which has been set on fire. And immediately, Jason's like, oh my God, that was Pluto, for shoresies. I guess because he knows there's fire. But then you actually see him. And at this point, Adelaide gets out of the car actually and tries to like, I don't know what she's trying to do, like being nice to him and like she did.
Well, I wonder if it's this kind of like maternal instincty thing with these people that otherwise resemble her children.
Yeah. And at this point, Jason takes advantage of Pluto's nature of basically mimicry with him and walks backwards to make him walk into the fiery car.
I think that's one of the most beautiful scenes.
Yeah,
it's really, really lovely.
It is. Yeah, she's like, no! Well, to be fair, she probably could have picked him up. Anyway. But also at this point, Red is hiding behind a car and yoinks Jason.
A very quick yoink.
A quick yoink and disappears. So cut to Adelaide returning to the funhouse, I guess, to try and find Jason. She sees on the beach the line of Teledol holding hands into the sea, including the man with the bloody hand.
Yeah, who was the Jeremiah Signs guy, because we saw him in an ambulance earlier, which we perhaps didn't mention. So he's obviously already been attacked by his doppelganger, who's now part of the
whole shebang, the whole show. So she goes into the whole mirrors and finds secret tunnels that lead down, including an escalator, down into an underground facility overrun with rabbits. And she goes into a classroom where she finds Red. Red explains that the Tethered are clones created by the government to control their counterparts on the surface. When the experiment failed, the Tethered were abandoned underground for generations, mindlessly copying the actions of their counterparts until Red organized them to escape and take revenge. At this point, you can see, like, while she's talking about it, like a recreation of all the Tethered recreating the rides. and things, like from the day that Adelaide first went to the beach, each had to go get away. Yeah, and like always different bits, like where they're just like, yeah, they all look kind of like demented versions of like what they're all doing above ground, essentially. And yeah, and she talks about how, yeah, when she recreated the sort of the ballet dance that she did above ground, that was when they realized that she was different from the rest of them.
It also suggests that both of them felt some sort of connection while that was happening, because she gave up dancing when she was 14, and it's so you presume that that's her final dance because she felt some sort of connection there with the other one.
Yeah. So then, and then she's just like, I needed to make a statement that, the whole world will see that it's our time now. And then it's like they start fighting essentially. It's just like a really amazing drawn out fight scene with the orchestral version of I've Got Five on It playing. And yeah, it's like, I think this is my favorite scene in the film, actually, that fight.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it's kind of interspliced with the ballet as well.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's like they're doing some kind of like intricate and violent dance.
It reminds me of two things. One is The Matrix, just the way that she can constantly kind of, because obviously she's spent a whole lifetime mimicking the actions. Yeah. So she knows her better than she knows herself, so she can kind of avoid her. But it also really reminds me of, in Kill Bill 2, when Pai Mei is training Beatrix Kiddo, and he does that thing where he's got his hands behind his back, but he just keeps like swerving out of her way. Yeah. It really, really reminds me of that bit too, but it's so beautifully done.
Yeah. I think you're going to reference Suspiria then, actually, but with the dancing. But yeah. But yeah, no, it's a really beautiful scene. The music really kind of like makes it kind of crazy and impactful. It's all a lot of fun. It's kind of sad almost when she finally then actually like Red moves to the final stab and Adelaide impales her with the poker that she's been carrying around since the house, and then breaks her neck with the costume.
Yeah, it's quite a gruesome but like intimate death. Yeah. And also they're kind of they end up kind of tethered to each other, like in a very literal way at the end, because she kind of has to struggle to get loose from her once she's broken her neck.
Yeah, it does look very kind of intimate though, like holding each other almost like that. And at this point, I don't know if you agree, but it seems like she seems kind of changed. She does this kind of like weird like scream, and then makes some sort of noises that sound a bit similar to some of the kind of tethered noises, and then just this kind of like sort of weird laugh. Obviously, it's just like probably it could either just be a combination of the relief of like.
Well, I think to an extent there's been a shift happening for a while before that point. I don't think it's immediate, because I think one bit that we didn't mention actually is when it seems like they've killed all of the Tylers, Adelaide returns to the house to get the keys and then ends up killing the one of the twins who'd gone off the balcony, who we'd assumed was dead. And while she's doing it, she's making these kind of like breathy kind of like, yeah, and she's doing these very animal-y noises. And that is the first moment where you see this fracture in her relationship with Jason.
And yeah, that's Jason is the one that captures him.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And looks really like disturbed by it. Yeah. So my reading of this, the whole Jason thing, is that Jason either has an inkling that this switch has already happened, or that when he met the guy with the bloody hand earlier, he had some sort of insight into what had happened from him.
Yeah, actually, now I'm thinking about this, some of the sort of readings of the film suggest that Jason has more of a powerful connection with the tethered than the rest of them do, and that's obviously shown with the connection with Pluto being able to make him walk into the fire, whereas the others don't have that power.
I wonder if that's something to do with his inability to focus, in inverted commas, that his sister mentions earlier, and the fact that he's not because he's not neurotypical in some way, he's more connected, or more like empathetic, or psychic. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
So then So she rescues Jason from the locker, but obviously, like we said, like he's a bit like, oh, you're a bit weird now, I'm scared of you, but then there's Huggy and fine. So then, they get out of the fun house and get into the ambulance, and she has a final flashback, to the therapist office, and recalls the night she first met Red in the Hall of Mirrors, and what actually happens in that situation, which is that the doppelganger chokes her unconscious, chains her into the underground, secretly takes her place above ground. So Adelaide becomes Red, and vice versa. It's strange that days. It's like, I don't really know why that's important, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Like, why is it? I mean, I guess it's the whole... Oh, it is important. It's very important, actually, because it's so simple.
It's the literal whole plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's the idea that one of the tethered wasn't actually tethered and had a taste of what life looked like for those above ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of strange in terms of the fact that she was able to leave the underground and come and see, because you see her poking her head around the building while Adelaide goes into the fun house. It's sort of strange to see she doesn't have to like...
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that the real Red was already very special, and it's not just because the new Red used to not be tethered that she's special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if you thought too deeply into it, you could pick some real holes in this, but...
Oh, no, there's like a million holes. I mean, like, I'm really bothered by the fact they can recreate the outfits in the underground when they have no materials by all sorts of things. But that's
well, but saying that, when we see the mirror of Adelaide winning the T-shirt, she's just handed a T-shirt.
No, but it's got like weird, like it looks like a kind of like rubbishy version of it. Like it's got like a kind of inky mark, so it looks similar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's. I mean, also, where did they get like a million golden scissors and matching red outfits from? There's like a million holes in it, which I actually haven't bothered to talk about. But yes, you're right. If you pull at it, it will fall apart.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then
not like the orphanage, which is completely foolproof.
But yeah, so I think that's kind of the end. But I mean, like, yeah, they're driving away in the ambulance and they see all the doppelgangers holding hands in a massive human chain and like helicopters and smoke and stuff. There's also the moment that I think we talked about with them the last time that we see like, Jason staring at Adelaide just kind of suspicious or he sort of was like a loving way.
No, I thought it was a knowing way. And I think it's all of those things. I think it's scared, suspicious, and knowing. But also, I think the key point is that he puts his mask on. Yeah. And I wonder if there's some like, yeah, I know that you're wearing a mask as well, sort of thing.
And it just that's kind of why I when I said what's the point of it, is that like it doesn't really matter. She's
ultimately not, because they were still raised by that woman, because it happened when she was a child.
Yeah.
But it matters to the other one.
Yeah. The other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on to representation.
Women.
Yeah.
I think that this passes the Bechdel test.
It does. The girls talk about.
Yeah, they also talk about like it's weird actually their conversation on the beach, because at first Adelaide's like, I don't really like talking.
Yeah,
but then they do have a conversation, because she's like, oh, you used to be great at dancing, you know, why don't you do that anymore? And she's just like, yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's strange. I can't really figure out the relationship with that family. Like,
I feel like it's kind of like laddie dads are friends, so by extension the rest of them have to kind of hang out. But I mean, like, this is like one of the like most iconic recent like women-led horrors I can think of.
Yeah.
And she also not only does she play one character, she plays both characters exceptionally well. Yeah. Like Lupita is incredible.
Yeah, she's iconic. She like is the best thing about this film.
Yeah. I think like the cast is brilliant. Like the daughter is really great. She's also a really great character, and she like she has like kind of her like special talent, which is just being like exceptionally fast. And like they kind of, so I think you learn enough about the women for it not to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And the relationship between Red and Adele is really
Adele. I feel like they're always just chasing pavements.
I was going to try and do the voice again, but I was scared I'll break myself.
It's quite difficult to maintain that voice. And it's like, it's so, I mean, obviously she's an exceptionally talented actress, so this shouldn't be a surprise, but for her to present two characters who are essentially the same person, but that are so different, just in the way, like the kind of facial tics, and the way they speak and the way they move, like
even the way that she holds her like face, like the expressions and stuff, it's just incredible.
And
all of like Red's like weird broken dialogue is just like incredibly powerful. Like, it's the best.
Yeah, and also I think in terms of like, I don't know, like it's difficult to know who you're supposed to be rooting for in a way. I mean, obviously the Wilsons.
Yeah.
But also with these readings about the tethered being kind of represented, the kind of disenfranchised, the forgotten about, the underprivileged.
Yeah.
Yet we're still being asked to root for the families that have it all, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the character of Adelaide, who was previously Red, her, like, even in spite of everything that's happening to her and has happened to her, she still has this huge capacity for loving the children of the tethered. Like, she still shows, and also she has this really warm moment with Red as well. Like, that is, you can tell that she's not gleefully killing her. But she has this moment where she's laughing afterwards, but that's coming from a place of relief, I think. And she's still recognizes the, she's not like kind of gleeful about it.
No.
I think she's very well rounded. I think all the characters are very well rounded.
Yeah.
Love it. In terms of race,
yes.
So obviously it's very well represented because the main characters are all black.
Yeah.
And they all play two roles.
Yes.
But I guess in terms of like a race reading of this, like I think when I watched it, I was expecting, for the first time, the narrative to be one about race.
Yeah.
In a very explicit way. And I think it is about race a little bit, but I don't think that's explicitly what the story is about. Okay. And I think this is just because I had Get Out in mind. Exactly. And then there's a lot of, when I first watched it, I was just like, am I missing something? Because is this about race or not? But I think obviously when you're talking about the disenfranchised, the underprivileged, the marginalized, the people who aren't afforded the same access to privileges and kind of material things, then there is also that intersects with race as well. But I also wondered, and I don't think this occurred to me the first time I watched it, but just in terms of like the jumpsuits that they're wearing, is this film about prison abolition? In which case, in the US, there's definitely still a real intersection with race there because of the disproportionate amount of people of color who are in the prison system. But like, because that red outfit is essentially like an orange jumpsuit from prison, and they are imprisoned and they're kind of overthrowing their oppressors. And in their version of what prison looks like, it's there's no room for them to have an opportunity beyond that. Which is essentially what one of the biggest criticisms about prison is, that it just breeds the same kind, because of the kind of the appalling conditions in which the prisoners are forced to live, that it just breeds the same kind of recidivism, because that's the only way that they know how to exist because of that.
Yes.
So yeah, this time that's definitely how I read it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good reading. I'm surprised I didn't come up with my research actually, but. Yeah, I guess some people, prison abolition isn't popular amongst many people. In terms of viewer, we're going to slow to view.
Yeah. And I think as well, that makes things like all of the rabbits in cages, it just adds more and more meaning to that sort of thing. The recurrence of handcuffs, and kind of I think there's a lot to it. Thank you. The library is open.
I guess, disability. We're going to talk about Pluto.
Yeah, so Pluto has and we've spoken about the idea of like a disfigured face. In this case, it is like the result of a fire, isn't it? Like this is
it's part of his story.
But aside from how he appears, I don't know if some of the ways that the tethered behave couldn't be read as a little bit problematic.
Right.
I mean, I think we can assume that Jason is not neurotypical.
Sure.
And that turns out to be a strength because it gives him more empathy, it gives him a connection, it helps them overcome. Ultimately, he is like maybe the main hero in this. Maybe. But I do worry. Well, I wonder. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, obviously, we're not the right people to decide whether or not this is offensive or not because neither of us are disabled. But I feel like some of the. I don't know. It was something that just struck me this time, especially about the dad character Abraham.
Yeah.
And perhaps Pluto as well. Like, there's an element of like, are these? I don't know. What is supposed to be monstrous about them? Is it that they can't like kind of function and communicate in the same way that we can, or?
Yeah, it's not very clear. I mean, she kind of Red refers to them just the experiment being left and then going mad in a kind of vague way, just mad.
Yeah. Or I guess maybe just kind of like shells because they don't have their own kind of autonomy or their own...
The souls.
Yeah.
What she says.
Yeah, I'm sure there could be a really interesting reading about what that looks like from a kind of disabled lens, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying that actually, because all of the things, the way that Lupitus, like the voice that she uses is actually specifically like a condition that could be caused by emotional trauma called spasmodic dysphonia that she mimicked from somebody who had that, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., apparently.
Oh.
So that's interesting as well, if they're thinking about that in terms of just, I don't know whether that's problematic or not.
But also, if it's a condition that comes from trauma, then it kind of makes perfect sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, presumably, because I think the way I read it when I first saw it was that the reason that she struggles to speak is because she hasn't needed to speak. It's the same way of like her kind of mimicking how a normal above ground human would be walking. Right. She's also kind of relearning how to speak after years of not needing to.
Yeah, and actually that's true because she is the only one that can speak out of all of them. And that's because obviously of her switcheroo and learning where she was able to speak and she just didn't need to with the tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queer representation.
No.
So I have a queer reading of this.
Go on.
So, and again, this is maybe clutching at straws, but that's normally what queer reading is.
Yeah.
So, if we're thinking, and I think this is coming back to this idea of the nuclear family.
Right.
And it feels like, I don't know, I'm riffing here, like maybe this is bullshit. But just this idea of these people who are not afforded the same privileges as these kind of wholesome nuclear families above ground, having to live their own models of kind of recreating their own systems and cultures in an underground kind of way.
Oh yeah, I see.
So like, I mean, it's a reach.
Yeah. But it's interesting with queer readings of things because you can queer most things.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it was interesting for you that you read, because I kind of wrote down when we just watched it there what I thought the film was about this time around. And I actually said a lot of things that Jordan Peele said, which makes me feel very intelligent. Yes. Which was the idea of like hiding collective trauma away where it can't be seen,
Yeah.
and not doing anything to repair it or correct it, but just being to forget about it.
Sure.
An idea of like the kind of the deficit model of human rights, where it's like the kind of scarcity of resources. So like, you can't have anything because that will mean I will have to have less. And I think there was something about this, these people who have everything and these people who have nothing. And that doesn't necessarily need to be the model of how it should work. And then also the prisons thing. That's what I took away from it. But I also wonder, this is not to do with queer representation, but I wonder about the symbolism of the spider. So we see the spider briefly next to a toy spider.
Yeah. Yes.
And also the song that she's whistling at the beginning is Incy Wincy Spider. And then she whistles it again at the end. Yeah. And I wonder, I can't remember how that song goes, but it's like climbs up the water spout. When the rain comes down, it washes the spider out. Incy Wincy Spider. I do remember it.
You do?
Yeah, very slowly. I don't know. I haven't really got beyond that, but it seems like maybe there's some symbolism there about.
Yeah, because I was wondering.
Oh, it's because it's about a spider trying to keep climbing, but keeps getting flushed. So it's about kind of like not being able to get to that higher level, higher plane sort of thing.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that with the kind of like with the toy spider and the real spider, and that kind of like being like there's one real spider and one fake spider or something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Naughty queer spider.
Shall we do the awards?
Yes, the award.
Da 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 da. I got 5 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 on it. Okay, who was your favorite character?
Well, we joked about it in the film, but
the owl.
Yes, the owl in the fun house.
The owl in the fun house was mine as well. What do you think was the spookiest moment?
I think the funhouse doppelganger moment was my spooky.
At the beginning?
No, like, well, just the kind of hinting at it all the way through where it's like a really slow reveal. Yeah.
I think that the scariest moment is when you first see the family on the drive and they just stood there. I think that's like a really iconic moment from the film. Yeah. And then also the bit where she clicks and they all scatter.
Yeah, that is right.
And also, I think her initial movement, the way that she walks really creeps me out. And also when they're in the classroom at the end, just before their dance off, where she walks backwards. Like, there's something about these like kind of jerky, juddery movements that really get me going.
Get me.
Oh, they do. What was your lols bit?
So yeah, I already talked about it, but it's just like when Jason says, "Why don't you kiss my
anus?" Like a Southern belle. Oh, ma'am, would you like to try a little bit of my anus? I'll just have to lift up my petticoats. You want to see what's in my pocketbook? I had 2 funniest bits. The one is where she asks Ophelia to call the police, and they play "Fuck the Police." But also shortly after that, where they're sat round in the Tyler's house watching TV, and the camera pans out, and you see that they're all sat round the coffee table that the body of the twin is just lying on. What do you think is the best death?
I think for me it has to be, well, I think the battle leading up to the death at the end with Red and Adelaide is just iconic. I think the death itself, I mean, is the accumulation of their fight.
I think so as well. That's my favorite. But I also think that the death itself is brilliant because that creepy whistling that she's doing, and then that last little kind of break of the neck, like, yeah, and the kind of closeness of it. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Worst death?
So I said probably Tyler's dad because
Tyler's dad.
Tyler's family dad.
Okay.
Because you don't see it, like you don't know what happens. There's just like a flare, and then they have a tussle.
Yeah, agreed. Did you have a queerest moment?
Well, I just thought it was kind of like the Red and Adelaide sort of holding each other seems sort of, sort of tender in a kind of way. But yeah, that's a stretch to call it.
Yeah, well, I would have said that as well. And I also think the relationship between Pluto and Jason, when they're sat in a little cupboard together, and kind of like, it's a bit like, you show me your stuff. Actually, right, like the lifting up of the masks. There's something really like tender about their connection there as well.
Oh yeah, the other thing I was like, with Abigail and Matt, just like before they
Abigail.
No, so Adelaide, when the red's talking to her and she says like, I often think about that time that when we first met, and I didn't understand why you couldn't have taken me with you. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cute, and now I'll take possibly.
Yeah.
Sexiest.
So I don't think it's I mean, obviously Lupita is objectively very sexy, but I don't think so in this film. But the dad at the beginning was, is it? And the thing is, though, you barely even see his face, but he's just got a very nice gait and he's got a very nice bod. Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, it just seems like kind of sexy.
Yeah.
So probably a bit wrong with like drunk and sort of hints at it, a bit problematic, but it's
nice to look at.
Yeah.
So, pumpkins.
Pumpkin.
How many pumpkins out of 5? I got 5 pumpkins.
Yeah, I mean, I was struggling, like, I guess, like, 4.5? I don't know, like, I love it so much.
I really, I think I said this when we did the orphanage as well. I really didn't want to be over generous in this, but I can't find a good reason not to give it 5 pumpkins.
Yeah, I'll give you 5 pumpkins.
Why, yeah, you wanna?
A bunch of 5 pumpkins.
So,
yeah.
Where do you think it rates compared to Get Out? I mean, they're very different films, but they're...
Oh God, I don't know. I guess if I was comparing, I think the thing is I haven't rewatched Get Out and all, like, since it was out, so I need to do that probably before I could say. But at the time, I loved Get Out, and I felt like a little bit disappointed when I saw this at the cinema, weirdly. Second watching, I don't know why, but it might be that I was comparing it to Get Out, which I did love.
You see, I think I had a slightly different response when I saw Us, and I think it's because Get Out was so brilliant that I expected Us to be a disappointment, and because I loved it so much, I was just like, "Oh my god, this was even better." But I don't know. I mean, they're very different films. But I think, I mean, they are both like absolutely at the top of the game in terms of horror, and in terms of like, and also just in terms of like, it's very rare when like a horror film comes along and you think it's kind of redefined the genre. And I think both of these films did it. Yeah. The only other example I can think of recently is It Follows. That was like a genre defining kind of where it just changed the game a bit. And also like just in terms of like the influence this film has already had on other films, just thinking about the soundtrack. And like, I just think it's like genre defining. So I feel like I couldn't possibly give it any less than 5 because I can't pick any holes with it.
Well, I mean, I think there are loads of plot holes if you start digging down into it, but I mean, it doesn't take away from its enjoyability, essentially. So, like, I'm reluctant to give a 5. I feel like you just say that.
Oh, now you feel like I'm being too... Oh, I'll give it 4.5 then, because the Orphanage is legitimately my favourite film, so of course that was going to be 5. So, okay, 4.5 pumpkins. How many for you? 4.5?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, few.
Let's come to a consensus there for some reason.
It's time for the spooky bit. So don't frighten me. So given the one of the themes of Us, I thought we'd talk about doppelgangers. So doppelgangers exist in most cultures. But the most commonly understood version of the doppelganger is that if you see your own doppelganger, meaning someone that looks exactly like you, if you see them multiple times, it means that you're going to die. I know. And the most famous person to have apparently seen his own death through a doppelganger is Abraham Lincoln. So apparently... Well, so apparently he didn't just see someone like pootling by that looked like him. He looked in the mirror, in a single mirror, and saw two reflections of himself in the same mirror. And his wife believed that this meant that he was going to be killed in his second term as president. Shortly after he'd seen the two reflections in a single mirror, he was assassinated in his box, as it were. Anyway, he was assassinated in his box at the Ford's Theatre in Washington. So two lesser known stories. One is about a young man who was sent to a neurologist, and this neurologist was known for trying
Not
to...
an old neurologist.
No, a brand new neurologist. And he specialized in trying to find scientific explanations for seemingly paranormal experiences. And this young man had experienced the following. So he'd stopped taking his anticonvulsant medication. So he had epilepsy, I think. And one day he was hungover, and he woke up, got out of bed, and he didn't want to be late for work, and he was feeling a bit groggy and hungover. And he looked back and saw himself lying in his bed.
Ugh.
Yes. And he obviously freaked out a bit, kind of was shaking himself and trying to wake him up, but he wouldn't wake up. But his consciousness kept shifting between himself and the doppelganger. So sometimes he would experience him being in bed and having his doppelganger trying to wake him up. And at other points, and in order to try and stop this, he jumped from his bedroom window from the 4th floor. But he survived. He landed in a hazel bush. Please welcome to the stage, Hazel Bush. Yes, with her big catching arms. And he was very, very explicit that he hadn't been trying to kill himself. He was just trying to end this moment. And shortly, so while he was in hospital and treated for sort of very minor injuries that he had, they discovered a tumor on his left temporal lobe. And he had that removed, and as soon as that was removed, his seizures stopped, and so did any bizarre experiences. There is another one which is a bit more difficult to explain, but it was quite similar. Actually, both of these are similar to out-of-body experiences, which normally happen when people are being operated on or something, and they kind of float above. Yeah, they kind of float above the scene, and they can recall things that happened during the surgery that they have. There's no reason why they would know that, because they were unconscious or whatever. And there is one doctor who found a way that he could replicate the effects of an out-of-body experience by stimulating parts of the brain, which sounds terrifying and something that I would not like to experience. No, not for me, thank you. Keep it. Dr. Stinky Bum.
You old neurologist.
So another man called Chris had a similar experience to the one I've just spoken about, but this was very shortly following the death of his brother, David, who died from AIDS-related illnesses. So similarly, he woke from his bed and got up, and he turned to see himself in his bed, much like the other guy did. Yeah. But his wife was also in the bed. She was really there. This wasn't